Attention class. What is the #1 most important aspect of a good, fun Metroidvania? There are no wrong answers here. A fun area to explore? No. A gradual buildup of really awesome abilities that let you backtrack? No. Puzzles? No. Platforming? No. A wide variety of enemy types? No, no, and no. You all make me sick. Stay tuned to find out what the actual #1 most... Hey, you can't be in here.
Boss
This is a
fight!
What that guy said. Let's make a boss fight. How hard could it be? We had a lot of fun making this little guy, and Nikki was excited to make a mommy spider. And what we imagined was a simple little mini-boss that we could complete in a couple of days. Now, I like to be taken seriously, so I started like I always do. Like a professional. A mother entrepreneur. I am not goofing around with this stuff. You can see that I spent a long time drawing and planning everything to perfection. They say a picture says 1,000 words or something like that. I don't know. What am I even? It's all right there. A tick, a marble, or maybe a little piece of and a baby tick trailing behind. There's even an arrow there. Nice. Next, I gave Nikki this small list of animations that she had to painstakingly create by hand, frame by frame. I thought it went pretty well. Here's the animations we'll need. Oh my goodness, I will do all of these happily and gladly, and I just love you so much. Turns out that sometimes I just hear what I want to hear though, because here's what actually happened. Here's the animations we'll need.
Fine.
Next, it was time to do some code. I wanted to program something really elegant, something that was modular and something that could be used in future boss fights as a base. So here's what I came up with. Who are you?
I'm Viking Stan.
That isn't what I meant. That's not what I meant.
You asked me who I was, so I gave answer, Viking Stan.
So what are you doing here, Viking Stan?
I'm here to make sure these guys don't get bored. There's a rumor that you are a boring and pale little nerd. One who likes to talk about something called code.
Okay.
I'm only here to increase something called YouTube retention.
So you're just gonna...
Oh, you won't even notice me. Pretend I'm not even here. Just don't be boring or pale or a little nerd.
Okay. So, anyways, I wrote a little script that essentially chooses a random attack from an array of attacks with a weight, or a certain % chance that that attack will actually get selected, and then execute that attack. Here's what it looks like in the inspector. And this is really cool because...
Don't give them an A and a B. Don't.
It's cool because A, it gives me full control over how often each attack might get selected during the boss fight. And B, it makes playtesting each attack super easy because I can literally just zero out the ones that I don't want to use and put the one that I actually want to test at 100%.
Raw! This is so boring! I can't take it. Talk about anything else.
Fine. How about I just show you what this actually does?
Now you're talking my language, pale boy.
Cool. Can you just give me space to work, though? You're in my bubble, and I can't really think with you in here, and can you just sit over there? So I was proud. This was a good system that I was happy with. Time to test it out and make sure it works. And it works. Don't freak out. I'm just laying the groundwork here. This is actually really exciting stuff. I do get it, though. You want to see the real action, right?
Yes!
Because right now, our spider mama is looking a little dull, and she doesn't really put up much of a fight. So I started with the jump attack. And at this point, we were nearing 500 lines of code, and the boss didn't even do anything yet. So I decided to create a separate script for each of the attacks, just to keep things more manageable. Big brain. And it was at this point that I realized I really hadn't thought this all the way through, because there are all these little nuanced decisions that need to be made with each attack. I thought it was just slap some extra health onto an enemy and give them 3 attacks instead of 1. Boss fight, done. But bosses need to appear intelligent. I mean, the spider jumps toward the player. Cool. But what if the spider is on the other side of the room? What if you're behind the spider before it jumps? Does the boss just jump a preset amount of times? Or should there be a range that's selected at random? Should the jump height always be the same? This was giving me a headache already, and yet this was only a taste of what was to come. But I got through it, and the jump was done. I decided on a random number of jumps to keep you guessing, but a stable jump height so that the player can quickly learn how to avoid taking damage. Next, the projectile attack. Now, this was kind of 2 attacks in one, because sometimes she's going to spit poison at you, and sometimes she's going to throw an egg sac at you, which is going to spawn a little baby spiderling. So May I?
If you're quick, little pale man.
So first we determine a random number of projectiles to spit. Turn towards the player. Determine if it's going to shoot poison or an egg sac so that we can play the appropriate anticipation animation. Launch the projectile. Ensure if it's an egg sac that it properly spawns a spiderling when it touches the ground. Ensure the egg damages the player if the player touches it. And ensure the player can destroy the egg sac if the player hits it before the egg sac touches the ground. And if it's poison, ensure the poison cannot be touched or hit. And ensure that the projectiles travel in an arc to make their path less predictable, but not so low to the ground that you can't dash underneath if you're quick. And also, I coded this cool little
Bored! Show more! Talk less, pale man!
It wasn't without problems. But I got it working in the end, and it's still really hard to dodge, so nothing that you're seeing is final. It still needs a lot of playtesting and tweaking, but at least it's in there and it is working. And finally, I got the spider dangling from a web and trying to ambush the player from above. This was another thing where it sounded easy on paper, till I realized I had to code the boss walking up walls and across the ceiling, and then deal with the line renderer for the web, and a raycast towards the player.
No one cares about ray casts.
Okay, back to our story. So at this point, I thought I was nearly done. We had to get this devlog out, and it takes nearly a week to make these things, so we were on a time crunch. We were so close, right?
So what happened next?
Next, I realized that the jump was way too easy to dodge. The projectiles were too fast and too tricky to dodge. The dangle attack just didn't damage you at all for some reason. And then finally I saw this.
What?
So there are these things called colliders, and they are what keep your favorite characters from falling through the floor and stuff. It's also how damage is calculated. No collider, no pow pow. Yes, collider, much pow pow. And anyways, because I'm a professional who does their homework and researches things for hours on end before diving headfirst into them, I totally didn't not know that colliders didn't not update by themselves, or whatever. Oh no, that's not good. But how could I have not known? Because I literally didn't even think about it. Like, it never even crossed my mind at all, okay? Now, shh. Colliders may need to be animated and reshaped along with the enemy. Otherwise, weird stuff happens. When this green line touches the player takes damage. So I went to animate this nice little polygon collider, which I can deform to the exact shape of my boss, and it doesn't frickin' work, and I hate game development, and I want to cry. Why can't you do this? I don't know, I just discovered that you can't. So I went back to the drawing board and just used primitive shapes and animated those. And I was really whiny about it. I'm really having a really rough time, and I just want you to feel sorry for me. Please feel sorry for me, because it's so rough, it's so bad, and I really hate game development sometimes. It's so hard. I wish you could understand what it was like to code. It's so hard. I complained to Nikki about it for like 30 minutes because it sounded like it was going to be so much work. And then I ended up finishing it in about 10 minutes. Anyways, after I don't even know how many days, we got all the animations done. We got all the particles in and all of the sound effects. And it won't be that much fun to watch me play because I programmed it and I know how it works. So let's ask Nikki. Babe, do you want to try the game? Please? It'll be easy. I coded it just for you to show my love. Please?
What if I beat it? I wasn't expecting that. Scary. Stop throwing stuff at me. That's not fair. This guy's way too hard. Leave me alone. You're mean. I haven't staggered it once.
I just want to say I had such an incredible time making this.
Bored! No more talking!